Hello, Star Fam. We're on. I'm on a little early to do the November report. I'm thinking it's always a good idea to come on early so we can prepare. Plus, I'm riding out a little bit of storm. I'm in Miami on my boat, and there's a Hurricane Melissa down by, I think it's Jamaica. So the wind is kind of blowing up this way. You can feel it. So I figured let me make a video. I'm just gonna do part one of November, which will include the full moon, and then I'll do part two later, which will include the new moon. But it's yeah, it's pretty active. I'm looking at Jupiter. It's got a lot going on. So just give a sec while I'll get my screen share up. Okay, so we have these are my notes, which we won't go on that. I use these notes for myself, and then I'll go back to the regular chart. So here we go here. Full moon. So yeah, I mean Jupiter by time the full moon happens will be in 0 degrees Cancer. So it's between it just passed through conjunct Sirius and Gemini. So logical energy with the expansive kind of what to do with my resources now into Cancer, which leans more towards how do I take care of things? How do I nurture things with what I have? How do I protect what I have? You can even go as far as to say value what I have, because Jupiter is about abundance. So then I'm like, okay, great, because it's part of this grand trine, and it's connecting to a lot because of what we call the degree of orb when it's it's large. So it's like Jupiter lassoed a lot of players into its grand trine and its mystic square. So I'll show that to you. So you can see here there's a trine, but then it goes also down to the north node. Then when you go over here to the aspectarian on the left, you can see that Jupiter here has a grand trine to Saturn, Neptune, because they're conjunct here, right? And then you can see it hits Mercury, Mars, right? And then you go down and the north node. So it branches out, it hits the north node here. So all of this is connected with the Jupiter grand trine. Then with the sun, yeah, so Jupiter's sun. Then you come down here it also branches out here. So it hits the Mars Mercury conjunction. So you see, because of the degree of orb. Then that all comes down here. So Jupiter lassoed everyone in. All right, so we want to break that down. Let me see what I wrote here. Oh, there's another thing that's going on. Okay, I didn't even write what was going on because I figured I'm just gonna try to interpret this while we're here because it's like wow, it's even opposing Pluto. But let's break down this grand trine because that's the supportive energy. So again, this is the energy of it just seems like abundance, but then there's also a level of caring with what you have. So this is like because it's in that Cancer, so it's about. It seems to me like a creation because Cancer, when you look deeper, it's known also as the gateway of souls in Egypt, the Scarabaeus beetle. So it's about creation, nurturing, bringing something to life. Then it trines here, which this Saturn Neptune conjunction in Pisces, it's been going on a while. It's starting to separate. This is what I was referring to as a spiritual maturity, right? So Saturn, I've reached the level of understanding the flow of spirit. Therefore, I have um, reached a mature level, or I have a maturity with my spirituality, understanding how all works in the flow. So that's one part of the trine. Then we come across to the Sun, which is in Libra, which is about, and then Mars is in Libra, so measured output, or use your energy wisely. I think I wrote something about karma as well. Karmic balance output. Yeah. So karmic balanced output, because when you look at Libra, I go to that story of Ma'at, where they weigh your heart against the feather. So we're looking at this kind of, how are you going to use your energy with this abundant your resources that you have to now bring something to a creation to birth. So you're bringing something, especially full moon, right? You're bringing something to birth. Then hits Mars, right? So that's that action planet. That's the one that's like, let's get this done. But then what's interesting, it's Mercury is in Scorpio, but it's conjunct Mars. Mercury in Scorpio is reveals the hidden information and the messages. And I mean, and it just keeps on going because so then that comes down to that spiritual maturity. So this looks like a good time to take action and create what you've been processing. And why do I say processing? Why am I getting into all this process? Because I'm really curious about what this Pluto is doing. Pluto Capricorn, rebuilding an old structure. Saturn, Capricorn ruled by Saturn, old structure. Saturn, the ruler of Capricorn, has reached the level of maturity. So releasing what's not working, what needs to be rebuilt, letting it happen. Okay, so that's one thing. So it's like great, all right, Jupiter. Then there's another thing. So we have this kite that goes along with Jupiter again, hitting Uranus, conjunct the Pleiades with the number 7. 7 is the number of Saturn. So here we have that kite going on. A kite supports the trine. So we see that. Then I got to go back to my notes because there's like so much. There's a kite there. There was another kite that hit Pluto. So there was a kite here. And then there's another kite with Pluto and Mars. And then the spiritual maturity. You see that? Part of that grand trine. I know there's a lot of writing here. But again, so Uranus is the awakener. It's awakening to what is valuable. It's in Taurus. It's awakening to this new situation that you've created and what's valuable, what's worth keeping, what's worth fighting for. So it feels like challenge, like, and that's what a lot of people have been past kind of month. Is people have been challenged of like what people have been challenged, like saying like what's all this for? What's really going on? There's so much moving around, and like is anybody even around? Like what's real anymore? So I got a feeling it's because we're just awakening to this big level of another reality that we're creating, and it's almost like maybe are we blinded by something? Which is why we have this Mercury that comes out. See Mercury Pluto, right? Let me just see something here. Yeah, that Mercury Pluto. Yeah, see this is because Pluto is changing an old structure. Mercury and Pluto, especially Mercury and Scorpio ruled by Pluto, is digging deep into this hidden mysteries, something that's been hidden that has to come out. And then again, it's part of that spiritual maturity. And then that Mars action, you know, ready to just do this, ready to just bring this to the light. That's what the energy seems like here. So I hope I didn't overwhelm you because I'm overwhelmed myself. There's so many connections here. And it's all with Jupiter. So it's really important to tap into Jupiter energy for even from now all the way through to the full moon. So I'm erasing this because there's just so many aspects going on. It's all landing with Jupiter. And I will do one more with Jupiter. So Jupiter is a big mystic square. Jupiter Chiron, Jupiter, Jupiter Venus. All right, now Chiron comes. Where was I missing this here? This Venus. Yeah, see, that's, and then that's a light square here with Chiron. So mystic square. Mystic square always represents, I always look at it, you can look at it one way. And this is the square of Saturn, the challenges of the limits of a square. But the square, if you look at it one way, becomes a diamond. Depends on how you look at it. And well, I just noticed that it's is that a 33 degrees? It says 33 Chiron. Interesting. That's that number of mastery. Uh, Chiron in Pisces, the wounded energy, the healing of our age that we're in, which is just like separated through these polarity, spiritual materialism. Then Jupiter, which is Jupiter's doing a lot of work. So let's give it up for Jupiter. It's doing a lot of work. Venus in Virgo, the ultimate feminine energy, because Virgo is married. Venus is the feminine planet. Then Pluto, square. Venus Pluto square, you really don't want to mess with that. Because that is the darker side of the feminine. Um, yeah, and then you have Chiron, the wound. So Jupiter, yeah, that mystic square is gonna bring stuff up. I prefer to focus on the trine and the kites and use the energy of what this mystic square is bringing up as maybe a reminder of what not to, you know, where have we grown? Because of course squares are challenges, growth lessons from challenges. So that would be my preference, to focus on that. Um, Let me just check my notes because there was like a whole lot. That kite Uranus is also doing a lot, and then that's also that kite's hitting. Wow. So let's go back here. So I want to focus on this Uranus kite right here. You see? So that Uranus kite. Then you saw something going like that. And again, I could be missing because there's so much here that I'm just like, wow. So Uranus in the Pleiades, spiritual awakening, Pluto restructuring, and then the missing link. That's what that is. The missing hidden link in order to get us out of, like I said, there's been a weird funk of like questioning what is really going on, what is happening, and this could be it. Let me just double check. Did I write anything? Yeah, I didn't even write much on my notes. I just wrote down the connections because I was just so overwhelmed looking at this that I said I'm just going to jump on, do the video, see what flows, and just point it out. And that's what that looks like. Yeah. This Uranus Pluto here trying, and the kite. Yeah, Uranus Pluto. Yeah, this is the ultimate creator, creating the ultimate transformation of awakening. Uranus is that planet of awakening, the new. Pluto is changing a structure. In the sign of Capricorn, ruled by Saturn, Saturn reaches a level of spiritual maturity. So could this be this like this fog that we've all been in that's just lifting? Um, the challenges that were just seemed endless, that seemed like they had no goal. Maybe that's changing for this full moon. Um, yeah, let's let's leave it at that. So we don't overwhelm, because what I want to do, let me just take a look here. What I want to do is take a look at what I did. Was I thought this is a good idea. I did the whole month, even though I'm not going to read the whole month. But what I did was take a nice bird's eye view of the month, then we can identify what transits are going on long. See, because you have a lot of short ones, which as I go through the weeks, I'll be doing videos on all these little hits. Kind of, let's focus on this in the next 2 days, 3 days. But when you scan out for the whole month, it's good to look at the big movements. So Uranus, Pluto is just ending, but the Uranus, Neptune, we want to look at that. Jupiter, Saturn, um, that's why I was saying this could be the way out of this funk that we've been feeling. Um, then, um, then Jupiter, Chiron, I want to have a look at. So one, two, maybe three, four big aspects we'll have a look at. So what I'll do is I'll do one by one for you guys. So this is going to be the theme for the month leading up to, I ran it for the whole month. So we'll move a few things around here. Okay. So get my pen back out. Let's see what's going on. We have that was the Jupiter Chiron. So that was part of that mystic square that we saw, remember? That involved Pluto, Chiron, Jupiter, and Venus. So that's a square. So could this be possibly maybe exposing the vast wound, or is it the vast healing journey, or exposing both the vast wound, which shows us the vast healing journey to nurture back to something to, to bringing to birth to fruition, is that Jupiter is moving out of Gemini, so logical use of mental powers going into Cancer, kind of giving a birth. And that ends November 4th, right before the full moon, which could make sense because the full moon is about culmination of energy. So let's stay with that. All right, like that. Now let's see what's going on this. What's going on now ends November 4th. Uranus, Neptune, well, Uranus, Pluto, the trine ends, well, the orb ends um, in 28. Let's see what we got going on here. Uranus, trine here like this. Okay. Uranus is retrograde. Oh, it also helps at some point. Um, Mercury goes retrograde. We'll take a look at that. I'm not too big on retrogrades, but let's see something. Pluto, Uranus. This is manifesting. This is creation with innovation. So maybe the ideas will be surfacing around this time. So okay, that's good. Then the visions, the deeper spiritual journey with Uranus and Neptune go on pretty much the whole month. It goes exact November 20th. So that's a bigger movement. This is like the awakening mystic. So this is like the mystic, visionary, and the Uranus Pluto is the shaman, the one who's like doing the shadow work and kind of like getting into the grits of it. So, and then remember we saw something going on with Pluto. Everything was a kite with Pluto, Mercury, and Mars. So we got to pay attention that that's happening, and we can see some evidence of that here, October 30th. Yeah, okay. So, but this is the big movement. So there is creation from vision, manifestation energy. Um, it's going to take a lot of work because these are deep movements. But this is an interesting aspect here. Trine. That trine, well, that's that spiritual maturity. That's that whole Jupiter holding it down with Saturn and Neptune, October 29th all the way through. When you see Jupiter and Saturn together, this is like saying we've done the time. Now we're going to, see the rewards, the benefits of our time that we put in, time well served, time well invested. We've matured ourselves spiritually. Now we can expand into this new creation. But it feels like the creation is hidden up until Mercury starts to kind of do its dance with Pluto, maybe to bring out the last missing links that have been hidden. Because what I've been experiencing with people working in our field is there's a missing link. We haven't figured it out yet. Something is not adding up, not making sense. So maybe by this full moon it will come up. So all right. So did the big ones. So we'll sit with that. Let's see when Mercury goes retrograde. Let me move this here. Hang on. Mercury goes into Gatorade the ninth, 10th. It enters in the 8th. So by the 10th, you're in Mercury in Gatorade. So Mercury in retrograde. Where is Mercury? Mercury is in Libra. A lot of times, my experience hasn't been so crazy with Mercury in retrograde, other than it maybe has a glimpse into the future. You have glimpses into the future because the planet of that filters the messages from the actual sun, because it's the first planet from the sun, is a little delayed. So you get first light, I guess, first information from the sun before Mercury filters it. So you get to actually see the future a bit. In Libra, where Mars is, so I wonder if this could be testing if you can really sit with information before taking action. Because if you get a glimpse into the future, but you're in the future timeline, but then Mars is always about wanting to take action, and then it's in Libra, which is about if you take action before it's too early, you have karmic retribution, you have a karmic debt to pay. Maybe this is kind of working that alchemy out. Because remember, Pluto is involved. Pluto is the shaman alchemist. Then it's involved with Uranus, which is the mystic, the mystic and the shaman and the. That's what I mean. And then it's all laying on Jupiter, which is holding down everything, which is the planet of expansion and growth, which is entering into Cancer, which is about birthing with this expansion and growth of this wealth of knowledge. Possibly, hopefully, don't carry karma with Mars acting too fast. So I feel like there's a lot riding on this one. Um, so let's just leave it at that. There's a lot riding here. Yeah, you can manifest whatever you want, even though the shadows are blurry now, still maybe. But just sit with it. It's looking pretty good. Even Jupiter is always the most amazing planet to work with because it's abundance. It's Uranus has a level of unexpected awakening. So unexpected a shock of abundance possibly. So all of this stuff can happen. So just hold tight, hang tight, keep riding these unknown, weird energy frequencies that we see. A lot of my friends are coming to me like, "What's going on? I can't even put my finger on it." And I'm just like, "Yeah, this is what we're looking at." So sit with that. I'll ride out the rest of this hurricane energy, and I'll be fine. All right, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Okay.